And the bans that both of you guys did, Jin, Zac, Volibear,
Yeah, it's
Gnar,
pure
Hecarim, Lux,
sniping.
these are pretty much like each team is sniping each player's champion pools, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But if
totally.
mhm. But if you wanted to do it properly, in a higher level, of course, you would just ban out what's really strong in the current
Yeah,
meta. Like, for example, Yone, Caitlyn, Zoe, you would ban out these champions. But because this is like a high gold, low platinum amateur tournament, sniping the enemy's champion pool is totally fine, especially if they are one tricks, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about my voice.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So, you know that they have blue side first pick, and they
Yeah,
decided to first pick set, and this is really good. Why is this so
yeah.
good?
It's a flex one.
Exactly, it's a flex pick, so you don't know where he's going. So this is excellent.
Yeah.
He can go top, he can go jungle, he can go support, he can even go mid if he wants to. Now this is extremely bad. You guys decide to answer with Senna and Corki. Senna is okay, but not the Corki, right?
Yeah.
Corki is not that
I
kind of
mean,
champion.
yeah, terrorism. As I told you. Yeah, we know. The thing is, what I explained to you before. We thought they didn't have like hard counters for Corki, and our meat is kind of one trick. So we said, let's go for it.
So he only plays Corki.
Well, not only, but close to.
What else can he play?
Lucian, that I'm actually practicing Lucian so we can flex it.
Right. So Lucian would have been a better first pick, right? Because then they wouldn't know where Lucian would go.
Yeah,
Yeah, he could go ADC, he can go top, he can even go mid. He's that kind of champion at the moment. And yeah,
yeah,
it's weird that neither team plays Caitlyn because Caitlyn is at the moment one of the strongest ADCs, and also
yeah.
ni-
I'm also spamming her right now.
mhm. And neither team decided to also pick Ashe. So Ashe, Caitlyn, Senna is okay. Not so much about Kaisa, but Ashe, Caitlyn, Senna. Those are the top three picks at the moment. So this is really weird to see. Well,
Yeah,
but yeah, as you said, you already know that this is a bad choice. First picking the
yeah,
Corki
yeah.
because
Totally.
even if he's a one trick, it's better to put him on a champion that can deal with the enemy mid laner. Because at the moment he got countered, right? There's nothing that Corki can actually do against Zed if Corki doesn't understand the matchup, and if he doesn't understand how to manipulate waves, which in this elo probably he doesn't, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. If this was like a high diamond Corki versus a high diamond Zed, early game is a little bit tough, but I think it can be done. Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, so you pick Corki and Senna. Yeah, picking Senna is
Then they
fine. Yeah, you were saying,
then they go on Kaiser Z.
and then they go Kaisa said, right? So there's
Yeah,
no.
and then we realized we had a problem.
Of course, you had a problem, right? Because they're not revealing anything, right? They're just reacting to
Yeah,
what you guys pick. They don't. You guys don't know where Zed is going. You know where Kaisa is going, but you already showed that you're picking Senna, so it's understandable for them to pick Kaisa. And you already
yeah,
picked Corki, so they picked the Zed up right away. Now this is an AD team, fully AD. Maybe not so much with the Kaisa. She can go a little bit of AP, but you know, the this is a little bit bad. This combination, and then you guys decide to pick Thresh. So you immediately reveal who your support is as well, and that's fine.
mm,
At the moment, this is okay because Thresh is a really strong blind support, and I think he does against a lot of good. He does well against a lot of matchups. Now I don't know how well he does with Senna specifically. Maybe not so
Oh,
much
it
with
works.
Senna.
We've seen it. We've seen it picked a lot in League of Legends competitive. We watch.
Okay, yeah. All right then. So then they go right away to ban Poppy and Jarvan. Understandable because you guys didn't show the jungler and also the top laner. And I'm not too sure about the Poppy ban honestly because there's not much mobility in here that can be blocked by Poppy. Maybe Kai'Sa ultimate, but that's
No, I think I just think they didn't know what to ban and they sniped our top laner and that's it.
okay. Okay. All right then. And then now you are on red side, so now you have to pick either your top laner or jungler blind, right?
Yeah, and then we decided to go on Sejuani
Okay.
because we thought that a tank here was great and decided to leave the counter matchup to top lane.
Yeah. Okay then. So R4 Sejuani. And this
Yeah,
is without knowing who their jungler is.
yeah,
And looking at this team comp, going Sejuani here is definitely not bad, right? Going a tank jungler that can deal with uh, their 80, their amounts of AD damage, and also you already have good AD, you have AD AP, so going AP here is not too bad, and this is honestly on itself it doesn't look that bad of a team comp, right? But then
no, I mean we thought it was really playable. Our team comp, the only problem was the Corki.
like as I said, in isolation, this team comp looks totally
Oh yeah, yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The the
Same.
yeah, yeah, it looks totally fine. But the problem is you are forced Sejuani and then you instantly get countered by Trundle. So Sejuani is now useless. Sejuani cannot provide any peel anymore for Zed, Kai'Sa, and Set because Trundle's R saps away all of her magic resist
Yeah,
and armor.
we had to go. We had to go Hail of Blades on Sejuani.
Hail played Sejuani.
Yeah, totally. Because
What?
if yeah, we've seen that a lot. Because it works. If you go Aftershock, then Trundle just steals you and you get fucked. If you go Hail of Blades, he can't steal you the Aftershock and you apply the passive fast.
Right, you applied passive fast, but you're not doing your job anymore, right? You're
No,
basically
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're a
Yeah,
walking
but
sack
the
of
thing is,
meat.
yeah, our mental thought here was, okay, Sejuani is not gonna do his job if we have the Trundle. So let's go Hail of Blades. Yeah, maybe it was a risky choice. I don't know,
Well, yeah,
but
but
we need to fight for it.
the fact that you have to go Halo Blade Sejuani already means that this was a terrible choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now she cannot fulfill her duty as a tank. So you guys basically have no front line considering Trundle's in the game now.
Yeah, we had to ban Trundle on second rotation and then go Sejuani.
Exactly. If you want to go Sejuani, if you want to go like some hard CC tank, you're gonna have to ban Trundle.
Yeah,
Even though Trundle is not that strong anymore, like he used to be blind picked against a lot of different junglers, but now, he's not that kind of jungler, so he is niche, and when he niche is when there are tanks in the enemy team, especially if there's only one tank. You guys have only
Hmm.
one tank. Thresh can serve as a tank, but not like a real one.
yeah,
Yeah, based on his item build, he's more of like a semi-tank supporter. So yeah, our first Sejuani was pretty terrible considering you can just instantly get countered by Trundle, and then they decide to pick Shen. So this is a blind pick Shen basically, right?
yeah.
And this,
And we punished him with Morde.
and then you decide to pick Mortar against it, which is good. Blind picking Shen like this is generally not that nice, especially since they don't have any AP. Yeah, so this is a really bad choice. Uh, Not just that, where is their damage? This is all single target damage. They don't have any AoE damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your team comp in isolation looks good. I'm just worried about like the early game, right? The laning phase between Corki and Zed. I think Zed will win that
Yeah.
matchup and Corki just
You,
dies and then Zed decides to roam bot lane or he decides to go top lane. Maybe not top lane, but they have Shen, so the enemy bot lane can decide to go aggressive on you, then Shen TPs, and then Sejuani tries to come, but then Trundle is there, so what are you gonna do, right?
Do you wanna tell me how it went?
What?
So, do you wanna tell me how it went? So we had like it's a weak side bot, but we won it. Then top was okay pushing, but the mid lane just went out of control, and now Zed just 1v9 the game. He was like 6-0 maybe minute 10. So yeah, that was a hole.
6-0.
Maybe I don't know. He was so fat, so fat.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get a new mid laner then. If you can
Yeah.
only play if you can only play Corki, there, what can you do? Like, are you going to like put blind pick? No, just like pick Corki last. But like Corki's not that kind of champion, honestly. You know,
I don't know. I can tell you, the sample he put there was Corki, Malphite, and then he rerolled from top so he can play like Renekton mid or mid. But this is like unplayable. So now we told him to spam Syndra and Orianna at least.
I mean, I think Malphite would have been an excellent choice here. Yeah, Malphite would have been great, especially against Zed. If they blind pick Zed, then you can respond with Malphite mid, right?
Yeah, with Malphite. Yeah, but we didn't. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
we
like,
have to,
yeah. So
we have to go on bot lane first, maybe.
Mhm.
We can blind Senna Thresh,
Mhm.
and then just wait the meet, I guess.
Mhm. So if you were, so you already know like exactly what you guys did, wrong, right?
Yeah, on this one, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much these two picks that went wrong. In perspective to their team comp. So let's try to fix it up a bit, right? Let's
Yeah, sure.
say, okay. Oh, sorry. Let's say, so they first pick Set, okay? Let's give them that. So Set is good. And then you don't have to first pick Corki. You can instead second
we
pick
can
Senna
go-
like
Yeah,
this.
first Senna. I totally agree here.
Yeah. So you can go first Senna, then Thresh second, or you can pick some other support. It doesn't have to be Thresh. You can even pick Tahm Kench if you want, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit riskier to go Tahm Kench because you don't really know the full extent of their team comp. So
What we thought here is like our support is comfortable playing Thresh, and Thresh like works on lots of matchups. So let's just blind it,
mhm.
and it should be fine.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So you can have these two picked first, and then if you do that, then maybe they don't pick Zed, right?
They don't pick Zed, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they don't pick Zed. Instead, they have Shen picked third because they blind picked it anyways, right?
Yeah, they blind. Yeah.
So if they third pick Shen, easy. You can just pick the Mordekaiser.
Just counter with Mordekaiser.
Yeah. Of course, there's a high possibility that Set can go top lane and then Shen goes support. But that's not really optimal considering it's Senna Thresh. Like, I don't think Kai'Sa Shen can really beat that lane because they're really short ranged and there's not enough like impact in that lane. It's basically, it relies on Shen's taunt too much. So most likely Set is going support and then Shen goes top lane, right? If they pick Shen third. So you can go ahead and pick the Mordekaiser. Right. So now you have an idea of what their three picks here are. And you don't pick Sejuani and you don't pick Corki either because you don't know what their jungler and mid are going to play, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to pick a mid laner that is in the current meta a blind pick that doesn't have that many hard counters and that can, sustain themselves in the lane without falling behind too much. Do you have any idea of any mid laners like that?
Syndra,
Mm-hmm.
Oriana maybe is blindable as well.
Syndra,
Azir,
Orianna, Azir. Okay. What else?
I don't know.
Okay. Wait. I,
Blindable mid
I,
laners.
I'm not too sure if they updated this sheet or not, but do they have Yone here? They don't have Yone here. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
They have Lilia? They don't have Lilia here either. Okay. So this is not updated for some reason. I wish it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways. Okay then. So you listed out a few of them. One could be Azir, but Azir also gets kind of countered by Zed.
Mm.
So you're gonna have to pick a different control mage. And you stated Syndra and Orianna. And I think those are good matchups, even to Zed. Zed will have to play above the level that he needs to play against Corki in order to kill Syndra and Orianna. So,
Yeah.
if we slot in Orianna here, I think this is totally fine. The moment it is. And then they're not going to pick Trundle anymore, right?
No, yeah, they're gonna.
What would they pick? What do you think they would pick?
I mean, a counter to Oriana, or at least something close to counter Oriana. And as a jungle, maybe they can go. What was a good pick here? Maybe an engaged jungler as well.
For them? For the enemy team comp?
Yeah, for the enemy team comp.
Well, I think for the
So
enemy
Shen can follow.
I think the enemy team comp currently needs some form of AP, right? So, this is kind of weird already. This
Yeah, but
three champions.
They can pick an AP mid laner right now.
Yes, they can pick an AP mid laner or they can pick an AP jungler, whichever they would need. Considering how much CC this team has, it wouldn't be weird to pick because Kai'Sa's set, that's a very volatile matchup. So I think, just slotting it Elise here just to really snowball the bot lane. I think that would be totally fine here, right? So wait, let me reorder everything here. Right. So yes, he is. You are Spanish, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, someone
I am,
in the
yeah.
chat was asking. Yes. I have like 90% of my customers are Spanish. Anyways,
Yeah, you told me this last time. I got a bit surprised.
exactly. Anyways, so Elise can work here considering how much Kaisa and Set want to really get into your face and kill you with Set's face rush and everything. So I think Elise is totally fine here. And then for mid lane, right? They're gonna have to blind pick a mid laner here. No, wait, not
Well,
a
no, I
blind
mean
pick.
they counter, yeah, they counter mid.
Yeah. What do you think would work against Orianna?
Azir.
Azir?
Oh, Oriana counters Azir. Yeah, totally. In the second game, they counter us Azir with Oriana. Yeah.
So what do you think would
So
be a good matchup against Orianna?
I don't know. Corki maybe is a good matchup against Oriana.
If I went this team comp, I would have probably gone like Pantheon.
Hold, I didn't even have it in mind.
Right. So take a look at this team comp now. So why did we go this, right? So they picked these three champions already, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, they want to probably snowball, right? They want to get ahead
Yeah.
early and they want to be in your face. So I was thinking, okay, let's pick two more champions that literally have to do that. Um, More of like an LPL style team comp. So Shen in the top lane, Elise in the jungle, and then Pantheon mid. So basically, Elise is ganking 24/7 around bot side and mid side. And then when Orianna ever steps up to lane, at least maybe flash cocoons.
Yeah.
Orianna has to cleanse, but then Pantheon gets on her as well, and then she has to flash, and then when she doesn't have spells again, Elise comes, Pantheon comes, they kill Orianna again, and then Pantheon is free to roam with his ultimate. He can go top, he can go bot, and so you have to deal with basically two globals from the Shen and the Pantheon. And that's how they really snowball their leads, right? Pantheon can go dive bot together with Shen because Shen has his ultimate.
Yeah.
And then bot lane is over pretty much. Kai'Sa is too fed. There's so much dragon control as well, so Senna and Thresh can never get into the river to actually do anything. And then, yeah, of course, but like we still need to pick our last pick jungler at the moment, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what would you have picked if you saw this team comp?
Let me see. Maybe an early jungler, because like I see our team would struggle on the early stages of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe Vi or
Vi.
Gragas. I don't know, because I'm looking our jungle sample, so I am not really picking.
Mm-hmm. Right. Vi
I
or
mean, he doesn't have much early junglers.
mm-hmm. If you pick Gragas here, it becomes 3 AP, and that's not optimal. They'll all just build Merc Treads and more magic resist, and you won't be able to do anything. You have to pick an AD champion for your jungler.
And Olaf, maybe, if we don't ban him,
If you don't ban
because
him,
it was banned here, but
right. So instead of banning Olaf, maybe I don't care. Like let's say you ban Gragas and you slot in Olaf here. This is amazing, by the way. This is really good. Everything that they want to do, they do it around their CC, right? Their chain locks. So
yeah, and the Ragnarok cancelled it all.
exactly. So Olaf pretty much cancels Shen's taunt, at least Cocoon, Pantheon W. So they really cannot snowball their lanes anymore because of the R5 Olaf here. And yeah, so if you have this team comp, what can they ever do? They're going to have to get those leads in the early game, and if they don't get those leads in the early game,
Yeah, we're gonna win.
yeah, Mordekaiser scales better than Shen, Senna scales better than Kai'Sa, Orianna scales better than Pantheon, Olaf, of course, is a high farming jungler compared to Elise, so you guys have the massive advantage in terms of team comp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is because of the way they drafted these three champions in the beginning. But of course, you guys fed into this trap and decided to pick the Corki and also pick what was that? The Sidrani, right? Blind.
Sidrani blind, yeah.
Right. You decided to pick these two champions blind without thinking about their enemy team comp. So what do you have to do when you're thinking about the draft? Of course, you have to think about your player's champion pool. That's not something you can go outside of. If you put your mid laner on for example Orianna and he has 0 games on her, then of course he's going to feed. He's going to go like 50 CS behind the Pantheon.
Yeah.
Right? So I understand that you put him on the Corki, but if you really wanted to win, you would have gotten a mid laner that can at least play more than 3 champions.
Yeah, totally agree.
Right?
Totally agree.
If you go into a tournament, you cannot handicap yourself like that by getting a one trick, right? One tricks just will get banned immediately. So, if you want more flexibility in the draft, each player needs to be able to play a multitude of different champions.
Yeah, like the only problem with champion pool is the mid. The other we can quite adapt a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we just told him to play Syndra, Azir as well, and Corki, and I don't know if he's gonna play Orianna or not. And he can play Lucian as an AD.
I see. Yeah, so R5 Olaf pretty much destroys their entire team comp. There's nothing they
Yeah,
can do
yeah,
against this. And, there's nothing they can do against Mordekaiser as well unless they build um, QSS. So, if you had this team comp, you would have easily won, right? There's no pressure for you guys. All you have to do is farm it out, answer their ganks, and make sure you don't die. But, you're gonna take cleanse, right? Against that matchup. Mariana also
yeah,
takes
sure.
cleanse. Uh, I wouldn't even mind if Thresh takes cleanse here. Honestly, it's just there's so much CC that you have to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and depending on all that pathing, maybe he can even answer Elise's ganks, right? If Elise comes
Hmm.
bot lane, maybe he can be waiting here already, because he expects her to come bot lane, and then they can't kill you because Olaf is there to help. Yeah, so this would have been the ideal team comp for you, but of course, because your mid laner's champion pool is quite small, you weren't able to do
Yeah,
that, and
we got
also
a bit limited.
yeah, and also because of the way you decided to draft jungle blind, that is what happened. If you wanted to draft jungle blind, right? Olaf is one of the good blind pick junglers. Another one could have been like Graves, right? Graves
Yeah,
is
he
another.
doesn't play great though.
hmm Volibear is another good blind pick jungler, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Liliac,
he was banned.
not so much Karthus, I think. Karthus, not so much. Nidalee to some extent at the moment. If you can play Nidalee very well, then she is to a certain degree a blind pickable champion in the jungle at
Mm.
least. Um, who else is there? Definitely not Lee Sin. Lee Sin's very popular, but he is by no means a blind pickable jungler. Um, let's see. I think that's pretty much it at the moment. Yeah. Lilia's another choice, but they don't have Lilia here, so let's just pretend Lilia and Yone both got banned, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah. So let's think about something now. All right. So can you tell me the second game's draft?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you second.
All right. So tell me the bands and both the bands and the picks.
Yeah, the bands were the same.
Oh, what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The bands were the same?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like, okay, now we're blue side, and
Okay.
we're banning exactly the same.
You're banning exactly the same. Okay.
Exactly the same, yeah.
So what? Fuck. What were the
Gnar,
bands?
Hecarim, Lux,
All right. All right.
Olaf, and Malphite.
Okay. Sorry. Before I took it, I took them out. Should have
No, it's
asked you.
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree here. We will talk later, I guess, on the second round bans. I think we just inked a bit.
What
We
was the other?
didn't know what to
Jarvan,
ban.
right? Jarvan.
No, Malphite.
Malphite.
Yeah, Malphite.
Okay.
And
Here.
they ban Jean, Zac, Bolivar, Jarvan, and Sejuani.
No. So it's different. They banned Sejuani this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only different ban is Sejuani.
Okay. That's kind of dumb. Okay. All right. So what did you guys pick?
Misfortune?
Misfortune first pick.
Yeah, blind.
Misfortune blind. Okay. So what did they pick?
And they get Ash Brown.
Ash Brom. Okay. And what did you guys answer
Then,
with?
yeah, then we go Zillion. And we blind Shen.
Okay.
So they get Mordekaiser.
Okay. Don't tell me after that. Okay. Okay. Um. So the enemy team has a good idea of the priority picks in the current meta, right? So they take a hold of the Ash,
Yeah.
which at the moment is extremely strong, right?
Yeah.
Her laning
Totally.
phase is good. The utility she brings with her slows and her ultimate are good as well. First picking Misfortune, considering your champion pool, if you cannot play Ashe, Caitlyn, or Jhin or Senna, oh well, I think you can play Jhin because they banned it. But if you cannot play
Yeah.
Caitlyn or Ashe, you're gonna have to ban them, or you can play Ezreal, right? But you decide
Oh,
to,
I can play Ezreal.
yeah, you could have picked first pick Ezreal if you were concerned of the Ashe, I guess. Um, but it's fine. You first pick Misfortune, okay, and then they answer with Ashe Braum, which is good. This is a good bot lane to have.
Yeah.
Not many answers to this, honestly. And if they play it very well, I can see a lot of things happening in the bot lane. So so then you flex pick Zillion. So because Zillion
No,
can
no,
either go
no.
support
Yeah,
or mid,
we
right?
we don't flex it. I mean, we had it clear it was support.
So this is support Zillion.
Yeah, totally. We've seen it against Brown a lot in competitive,
Mm-hmm.
and our support is a main Zillion, so we just went for it.
Okay. If you had the intention of picking support Zillion and not flexing it into the mid lane, if that was your real intention,
Yeah, that was the real intention.
mhm. If that was your real intention, why did you pick Misfortune? What is this combo supposed to accomplish?
Like, I mean, we just said, as we saw the mid lane on the last game, I'm just said, okay, I'm gonna go blind, whatever. I just gonna go blind, and we try to counter mid or something like that. So, and I thought, on the champion pool I have, I'm quite comfortable with Misfortune, and I don't really care about the matchup I get. So I just went Misfortune. That was totally my decision to go Misfortune.
Let's think about Zillion for a moment here. Zillion is a support that will throw out his bombs, poking the enemy little by little. Hope maybe he can get a stun, or he can use his E to slow them down, or to speed boost you, right?
Yeah,
And he's not the type of champion that will be able to assist you
yeah.
if you are in trouble. If you're in trouble, if you get caught by Ash Arrow, and let's say you don't take cleanse, let's say you take
Oh, I
heal
was
instead.
I was cleansed, by the way.
Right, you have to take cleanse against this matchup, right? Okay, let's say you burn your cleanse already. And then they throw out your CC and your CC stunned, right? The only thing that Zillion can do, hopefully, is he lands his double bombs, right? QWQ, so that it stuns one of them. But if it doesn't, if it doesn't land, um,
Well, he ults me.
yeah, he ults you, right? He ults you, and once he ults you, they back, right? Because they're like, oh, there's no
Yeah,
point in fighting this anymore. He ulted the Misfortune. So that's how Zillion works, right?
yeah.
So I'm thinking, what ADC would go well with a support like Zillion? And Misfortune is definitely not the choice that comes to my mind because Misfortune, I think she would go well with a support that can provide lots of
Yeah,
CC, right?
like Nautilus, Leona,
Yeah,
sort of like that. Yeah, I agree.
because then if she if she gets the CC, then it's easy for her to proc all of her abilities, right? Her
Yeah,
Q,
and the
her
ultimate as well.
her ultimate. Zillion's bombs can do that, of course, right? But Zillion's bombs are much harder to land.
Yeah, harder to land. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand your point. Yeah,
yeah. And if Braum Shield is active, those bombs would actually So like if Zilean throws his bombs in one direction, let's say Ashe is over here, and then if Zilean tries to throw the bombs here, they're gonna get eaten up by Brahm's shield. You understand that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So you would never be able to actually land the bombs onto Ashe because Braum is using his shield to block them. Yeah. And Jin Zilean would have been actually okay, but Jin unfortunately
Yeah,
got banned.
I love playing Team Zillion, but they didn't allow me to.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Now Jin Zilean is actually pretty good. But not the case here. So I'm thinking I mean, instead of Misfortune, what other choices could you think of?
Oh, Caitlyn Blind, for example.
Caitlyn Zilean?
Oh no, with Zillion you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were meaning like blindable AD carries that I have.
No. It's with Zilean, what do you think would go well?
Oh, scaling ADs.
Like?
Like with my Champul, maybe I'd go on a Jinx, but I'm not sure of blinding that.
What about Ezreal?
Yeah.
Don't you
But
think?
we already said Ezreal, right?
Hmm. So Ezreal
So
would have been okay with Jhin, I think, because Zilean doesn't have to babysit Ezreal, right? Ezreal is the safest AD carry you can basically play. Your Q runs like half a mile. You can shoot people and shoot the CS without any worries, right? So
Yeah.
Zilean can focus on providing more utility to the team by setting up his bombs, setting up his slows, so he doesn't have to look after you. But if you play Misfortune, if you get caught by anything, Zilean has to pay attention to you, right?
Yeah.
So I think Ezreal Zilean is one combo that you could have gone. Do you have any other ideas? Maybe what about Aphelios? What do you think about Aphelios Zilean?
I don't play Aphelios.
I see. So Aphelios is out of the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Jinx is pretty terrible here, honestly. If, as I said, it's the same thing with the Misfortune. If you get caught, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's not much
Yeah.
Zilean will be able to do to help you. So, what about Senna? Senna
Maybe
Zilean?
that's Senna, yeah, maybe Senna was good. Senna Zillion is really playable. They work well together.
So even though Senna doesn't have that much mobility compared
But
to
yeah,
Ezreal,
I was gonna tell you, same happens. If I get caught, I'm
right,
Zillion needs to take care of me.
right. But unlike other AD carries, Senna has a few answers to getting caught, right? She has her own form of CC, she has her own form of movement speed bonus, and
Yeah.
she has a heal as well, right? She has two heals
And
actually.
and RE ultimate, yeah.
Yeah. So because of the amount of sustain that Senna provides, as long as you don't get caught too many times, then it's okay.
Yeah, with the cleanse as well.
Yeah. But the problem with the other AD carries you mentioned, so like Jinx and Misfortune, they don't have that much utility, so they are quite vulnerable to be played with Zilean.
It was sure I wasn't blinding Jinx.
And also, like Senna Zilean, this was actually a thing during the fasting Senna era
Yeah.
because
Fnatic played it.
yeah, Fnatic played it exactly. So you know that game, right? Where
Yeah.
Hylissang played Zilean and he was sent bot, and the enemy team, they didn't know where Zilean was going. They thought he was going mid because Zillions usually go mid, but because they had fasting Senna, Senna can funnel all her resources to the Zilean, and so he goes bot lane. And this is fantastic against a lot of different matchups. Mainly because the Zilean gets all of the CS and he gets all of the gold and he gets lots of items, so his bombs hurt so much. But if you're gonna go the traditional Senna route and Zilean's just gonna go traditional support items like Mikhail's, it's not as useful, I would say, going this bot lane compared to if you went, something more safe so that Zilean doesn't have to think about you anymore. Yeah. So then, if you play Ezreal, your ultimate gets a lot more value now. Zilean ultimate gets a lot more value because he can use it on other champions instead of you.
He doesn't need to babysit me.
Exactly, exactly. So, but anyway, so you chose Misfortune, and then the second ban pick happened, and okay,
Yeah,
so
then
what did Red Side pick?
they went for Vi.
Vi. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't. I
Okay, and
I
what?
cannot get why, but I think they went for denying the pick to our jungler.
Okay, and what did you guys go?
We went for Nocturne
And
and Azir.
and what did they respond with?
Oriana.
Oriana. Okay. Okay. So they decide to blind pick their jungler, and it's Vi. And you know, I don't have that many problems with Vi. I think if you can play her well, it shouldn't be that much of a deal, especially since you have a clear form of engage here. And if you put the Oriana ball onto Vi, it can be quite devastating, I would say.
Yeah.
So looking at the two team comps in isolation, I think this comp is a little bit better than yours. But if we take a look at them in terms of each other's team comps, right, so Mordekaiser is going to win the Shen, right?
Yeah.
And what was the logic of picking the Nocturne here?
Yeah. Okay, that was like we picked the Shen to deny it for them, and then we said like, what if we try Shen Nocturne because we saw it played on the competitive, and we said let's see how it works. The double ult.
I see, so you put the Shen on the Nocturne.
Yeah, and Nocturne went in.
Okay. So how did the game go for you guys?
It was a really close game. I mean, we lost it because we threw it, basically. Because there was a fight on Nashor, we aced them, but we were like all 1 HP. We tried to do the Nash, and then we die. It was kind of sad, to be honest. But it was completely winnable, I think.
I think this team comp is not that bad. As you said, the double ult here can definitely work. And if you put the Zilean bombs onto Nocturne, it can work even better. Let's say you're diving the Ashe and you're going with the Shen Nocturne double ult comp. Braum is a problem here though, right?
Yeah, what we tried to do during the game was perma picking Oriana.
Okay, so this goes on to Oriana.
She was kind of overextended at some points, and we just punished her a lot.
I see. Because I think it will be much harder to do this against a Braum, right?
Yeah.
If you try to go in with Ashe, with Shen and Nocturne, it most likely will work, but it's a little bit harder to do, I think, compared to if you do it to just Oriana. But then, you know, I'm looking at this team comp. I'm like, this is a dive comp, right? You basically want to just go into the enemy team comp. So I think a much better choice for your mid laner would have been Galio.
Yeah, to ult in as well.
Yeah. And then imagine if this was Ezreal. So I look at this,
yeah,
I'm like,
that was a good composition, I think.
Yeah, I look at this, I'm like, damn, there's just so much potential for this team comp, right? Especially during team fights, because you basically have two global ultimates now. So whatever fights that are happening, no wait, actually you have like kind of like three global ultimates because of Nocturne as well. His ult is around this much range. Galio's ult is around this much range. Shen ult is everywhere, so... Right. No fight will ever become a disadvantage for you guys because you guys will always have the numbers advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of
Totally
course,
true.
yeah, but of course you decided to go for the Azir instead, which, I don't really understand here. It doesn't really fit with your team comp at all. What Azir is good at doing is he's good at using his soldiers to fight off the front line, and then when everyone starts to get low, then he decides to dive in, right?
Yeah, he's like a damage dealer.
Yeah, pretty much. So he wants to stay back first, and then later on he'll go in with his Shurima shuffle, right? But then what you guys want to do with this part, and maybe with
Yeah,
this part,
completely diving.
you're completely diving. So once you dive, and then let's say the enemy starts to back off, Azir can't catch up. It's too far away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there is no front line to protect Azir and Ezreal here. If you really wanted to pick Azir, you wouldn't have picked Nocturne. You would have picked the tank jungler. Let's see.
Yeah, to peel for Ezreal and Azir.
Yeah, exactly. What tank jungler could you pick here?
Sejuani.
Set
Oh,
is
it was
open.
banned. It was banned. It was banned.
Yeah.
And we can go. Jarvan was open or banned? Banned as well.
It was banned.
Holy shit! They banned their jungle champion. Maybe Skarner? I don't know. Set Malphite.
I picked Set for you here. I think Set would be fine.
Because he can follow with the ult.
Yeah. Let me think. Yeah, I think Set would be fine here for a tank jungler if you wanted to play one. Because pretty much the other tank junglers were all banned. Incredibly, right?
Yeah. Because our jungler is like really good with tanks.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so if you wanted to really play Azir, you would have picked the Set instead of the Nocturne, right?
Yeah.
There's not much.
I get your point.
Yeah.
Like it was here like a tank to peel for the Azir as well.
Right. And you need even more peel if you're gonna play Misfortune, actually. Right? Ezreal is actually more self-sufficient than Misfortune, so yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like I'm looking at this team comp and there's like one side that wants to do one thing and the other side that wants to do another thing, right?
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, what their team comp is, it's more balanced. It's basically a charge comp.
It's like more on the same page than ours.
Yeah. So Mordekaiser is just a denier. Whoever goes into his death realm, he's going to kill. It doesn't matter who it is, but he'll just take out one person, and
actually, then in one Drake fight. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, sure.
In one Drake fight, what happened was that the Shen and Nocturne went in, and when I was trying to go in, I just found the Mordekaiser and I had to run. So we lost that Drake because of the composition not being on the same page.
Right. So yeah, the Mordekaiser, he's coming for you, so there's nothing you can do, and now they are left with dealing with this. And I'm thinking, Ashe Braum, really strong comp. No matter how well you put it, no matter what you pick against it, Ashe Braum is just. If Ashe lets, you probably did win the lane, I think. Considering, the Ashe Braum, if you play it well, it's good. But at your current level, I don't think they can play it that good.
Their AD was kind of bad. He was gold 2 or so, but he had good picks, but he didn't play good on them. I think he maybe was like first time Ashe, not first time, but like he probably had low games on Ashe.
Yeah. Right. So then the Vi, Vi goes into you, goes into Zillion, or she goes into Azir. Oriana puts the ball onto
Or
Vi, and then it's kind of disastrous. So I'm looking at this in a 5 versus 5 team fight, and it can go well for you guys, but I see this team comp doing slightly a little bit better because it's easier to fight with it.
execute.
Yeah, it's much easier to execute than your composition. Your composition actually needs some level of coordination to be good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally see
hmm
your point.
So so I think there's something interesting that we can do. I don't know what you've learned today, but drafting is very, very complicated, right? You need
Yeah,
to have
indeed,
knowledge of
indeed.
almost all of the champions, and you need to be able to also know how the matchups go for each champion and how they interact with each other. So drafting is extremely difficult, but at least there's one thing that you need to understand very clearly, and it's that if you don't have players that can play more than 5 champions, you're not going to be able to draft properly.
Yeah, it makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, it's obvious.
Hmm. And the other thing is that you don't want to set yourself up for failure in the draft. There are there are ways to do that, right? The first easiest way to do it is to just pick flexes first. Champions that can go to multiple positions so
Yeah,
that if they get countered in one position, you can send them to another place. Yeah.
yeah.
And then the second thing is just pick the most OP champions at the moment. So first pick Caitlyn,
Yeah,
first pick Ashe.
yeah. We're practicing Karma Caitlyn on bot.
Mm-hmm. Karma Caitlyn's good.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the idea is to go Karma Caitlyn and then play Shyvana.
mhm.
We still haven't tried it, but I don't know if it's gonna work or not.
Mm-hmm.
Just the plan on this composition is like to dominate bot lane and play for Drakes.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, don't be afraid of blind picking for your top or mid, I would say. Um, because you can definitely have a better matchup in other positions, like in the jungler, which
Yeah.
would make it better for you guys, right? So I think let's try something out. Let's try the pro draft actually. I'm gonna give you the link, and I want you to draft against me with no limitations. Imagine if all of your players can play every champion, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So I will be RGL, and this will just be practice draft. Yes. Yeah. So you will be red side, and I will be blue side.
Okay.
Yep. So whenever you're ready, you can start. You wanna start?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
We should.
right. This is just for practice. You can ban whatever you think is strong at the moment. I'm just gonna go ahead and ban Yone because I don't really want my team composition to be played around him, right?
I'm going on another strong pick right now.
Mm-hmm. And then if you're going to ban Caitlyn, um, could probably ban Ashe. Doesn't really actually matter because we don't have knowledge of whatever player each player plays. It's
Yeah.
just everyone can play anything, right?
I don't know what should I ban, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Just pick whatever you think is bothersome.
Holy shit, I don't know what to ban. I'll go on Senna, but I think I'm like putting myself on problem right here.
I don't know. Let's just see how it goes.
I'm gonna ban. There's 4 ADs, holy shit.
Okay then. So you decide to pick like that. And
Because I thought Ezra was a good blind pick.
no problem. So then I go ahead and pick blind Graves.
Hmm.
Oh, you have second pick. Trundle. Okay. So if that's what you ban, I will go ahead and pick Morgana. And also Morgana Zoe.
Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what works onto Zoe, to be honest. I think I'm not sure about that, but I think I've seen it picked against Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so now I was banning.
Yeah, it's your turn to ban.
Yeah.
Kog'Maw. Okay. Very interesting. Alright. Alright.
So now I'm. Oh, I know.
Warren. Interesting. And there, the ADC champion pool is pretty much gone. Wait, why can't I pick? Okay.
Yeah, I had in my head you were gonna pick Varus. That's why I picked Ornn basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean there was not much ADs to play.
Alright. So we're
And I
gonna
think
be taking a small break after you pick. Okay. So give me around take 5 minutes to understand both teams' drafts and tell me if you think you drafted better or whether you think my draft sucks or whether you think I could have made any improvements. Just think about overall what
okay,
happened here, and I'll be back in 5 minutes, okay?
okay, sure.
Okay. Alright, I'm back. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah, so I'm back. So did you have the time to analyze both of our drafts?
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Okay, so I think I hinted the Trundle pick
Mm-hmm.
because I had no clue about what to pick. I
Mm-hmm.
just had no clue. I wasn't expecting the Grace first pick. So yeah, I think Trundle is a bit int.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got winning lane
Where?
with Azir against Zoe.
Azir against Zoe. Is it like a hard win for Azir? How do you see it?
I mean, I don't think it's a hard win, but I think Azir can easily push the wave against Zoe, right?
Okay.
I'm I'm not sure about that. I mean, I'm not a mid laner, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked Azir because I've seen it picked against Zoe
Okay.
sometimes.
It's very popular matchup, yeah.
Then during the early, Ornn is not bad against Gangplank, right? I mean, Gangplank scales obviously better,
Okay.
but I think Ornn is really playable.
Alright.
So I think Ornn was a good blind on top lane.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw the Morgana, maybe Karma was a good pick onto Morgana, but as I didn't pick support and it was banned, I just thought, okay, so let's deny the Black Shield and let's pick a bard that roams to wherever it goes. And from the ADs that were left, from my point of view, Jhin was a good blind.
Okay. Why did you think he was a
And
good blind?
because it basically works well on lots of matchups, especially Ashe, but it was banned. And it's got like kinda strong laning phase. And yeah, from the ones that were left, it seemed really playable for me.
Okay. So this is my band, right? This is my, and this is yours. Me do. Is that what I
Yep.
call you? Yeah, me do. Okay. So you pointed out a couple of things which are kind of correct, and some of them which are not so
Are not,
correct.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first thing that I think you did wrong. I'm not gonna look at the ban so much because this is only going to pertain to like in terms of what the players are good at,
Yeah,
right?
it
So
was weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you can't really analyze this, but I can analyze your team comp. Um,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, and one thing that I've noticed from your team comp is that it has a good front to back style. So Jin on the back, Azir on the back, and then Ornn and Trundle in the front with Bard
Yeah.
acting as a catcher. The big problem with your team comp though is that it lacks damage. It's very little damage.
Yeah,
On,
it kinda
hmm,
relies a lot on Azir.
yeah, the Azir has so much pressure on him to be able to uh, for you guys to be able to win, Azir basically has to do everything. Jin, he does have damage, but it's not consistent, right? It's
Yeah, well,
slow
your team
burst.
is kind of squishy though
Hmm.
for Jhin to deal damage.
That is a good point, but you also have to think about the opportunities that you're gonna get to deal the damage, right? It's not like Jin
Yeah.
is always going to be able to land his shot onto the squishy targets, right?
Yeah, true, totally
Yeah.
true.
And what stops you from doing that much more is because of Graves. Graves W, the smoke screen, right? Uh,
Yeah,
it basically acts as a, how do I say it, like a peeling tool, right?
yeah,
So Graves is not a tank, but his form of peel is his smoke screen, and his smoke screen is very annoying because once you get hit by it, you cannot see anything.
Yeah, yeah,
right? So Graves' smokescreen buys a lot of time, including with Gangplank's ultimate. You're slowed, Azir is slowed, Ornn is slowed, Trundle is slowed, everyone is basically slowed. Your team has two problems, right? One is it lacks damage, consistent damage. The only one who's doing that is Azir. And there's so much pressure on him to
yeah,
carry this game. The other thing that your team lacks is mobility. Your team is very, very slow, with
yeah.
little ways to actually get around the map. Um, well, you can say the same thing with my team. My team is also kind of slow. Uh,
Yeah, I think that if your team gets engaged,
mhm.
you cannot fight. I mean, we probably gonna win 5v5
Right,
because you've got what I see is you've got like a hard poke composition.
exactly.
So if we manage to not get poke and engage, we should win.
That is a fair point. Yes, but one, as I said, if I do get engaged on by either the Bard ult or the Ornn ult, there are unfortunately going to be answers for those, right? Once you land
Mhm.
those skills, you're gonna have to deal with Morgana Z, the Black Shield, and it's not like my team comp is going to, because I'm playing a poke composition. I'm not going to be trying to clump up. You get what I mean? Clumping up
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
this composition is suicide. This
It's suiciding.
yeah,
Yeah,
this composition is all around playing with vision. So around the jungle in the early to mid game, Zoe Bubble, Morgana Q, Varus ultimate, Graves smoke screen. You basically have an idea of how my team comp wants to play, right? So when the big team fights come, Zoe's not
yeah,
going to be together with the team, and neither is going to be Gangplank, right? These two people are going to be on the other side. So you're going to have to engage onto the Varus or onto the Graves. But Graves is kind of hard to catch considering he has a Z. And then Morgana's Black Shield, basically
yeah,
stops Varus from getting hit by CC. But um, this would have been solved though if you had a different jungler, because I think Trundle doesn't provide much here, right? As you said, you entered the
mm,
draft because of the Trundle. It's a blind pick here,
yeah,
but what does he provide? Trundle doesn't have the best clear anymore compared to Graves. Graves will go like 250 CS, while Trundle will go like 150 by like 20 minutes. And
yeah, yeah.
Trundle, he's more of a utility tank, but he doesn't do damage. He doesn't do that much damage. And, he needs his ultimate to be useful, but there's no one to sap with his ultimate, right? I have no tanks on my team.
Yeah, Grave is the closer one with easy.
Well, yes, but Graves doesn't build any defensive
Yeah, yeah,
items.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, from the point, there's not a good tank to seed. What? Well, the best choice is Graves, I guess.
yeah. So you're basically playing for your pillar, right?
Yeah,
That's all you're playing for. Hopefully pillar plus Ornold, is enough CC to catch my team comp. Um,
yeah. I think Joanny, for example, was much better
yes,
because
Sejuani would have been
I
much
get
better here.
also yeah, I get also the peeling and as well I can catch your carries.
hmm And your only form of reliable CC is Bard Q and maybe Ornn Knockup and Jin W, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but unfortunately those are kind of like single target CC. They're not like Galio taunt that can taunt a lot of people. And single target CC is countered by Morgana's Black Shield and Gangplank's oranges, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And of course, if I think about it even further, this team comp is quite weak in the early game. Like pre pre 2-3 core items, this team comp is extremely weak, mainly because of your Trundle. Right?
Yeah, the whole problem here was Trundle, I think.
Yeah, you basically don't have a top side of the map. You try to fight Graves, Zoe, and Gangplank. Yeah, it's not gonna go well for you guys.
Mm.
Yeah, it's gonna be really difficult.
The only point here was Bart roaming to get numbers advantage.
Right, the Bard roaming. But the thing is, it's not like you're playing Ezreal here. You're playing Jhin, and there's a big problem playing Jhin.
Yeah,
He's immobile. He's
if I get
immobile.
hit by Qs, I'm
If you get hit by Morgana Q or Varus ult, you're going to have to instantly cleanse it, right? Of course, you have to take cleanse in this matchup. There's so much single target CC.
yeah.
But then after you cleanse it, you also have to think about the Gangplank ultimate. Gangplank ultimate on top of Jhin, under turret against Morgana Varus. It's a big problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, this is a team comp that has already been run in the LPL. I don't remember which game it was, but I basically just ran that team comp. And your team comp is, yeah, this is kind of confusing, honestly, because
Yeah, I'm not happy with the Trundle, but I think, for example, I picked Ornn because on a poke composition, I think it fit a lot to have like an Ornn on top because a tank peeling and with disengage. And I thought, okay, he's going poke, so he's gonna go Varus. So I just deny him the Ornn and pick it from me because Varus is not gonna hurt Ornn.
right, not
So
yeah, not a lot of people will hurt Ornn, but everyone else on your team will get hurt a lot by
yeah,
my
totally.
poke. And I also don't really like the Bard pick here. Mainly because it doesn't go very well with Jhin in the lane, right? You're basically leaving the Jhin alone if you want to roam with Bard.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
true.
you put him in a 2v1 scenario against Varus Morgana, which are very long range. It can get quite ugly for Jhin, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing in the highest level. Let's say all of our players are around Masters and above. Do you think that if Bard roams, Morgana and Varus are gonna let Jhin just do his thing? No, right?
No, he's not gonna farm.
Yeah, he won't be able to farm.
If he wants to farm the lane, he's gonna die,
Yeah.
or
So,
at least waste cleans or something.
right. So there's another thing that you have to know, and is you can't just look at the team composition based on their ability to team fight later into the game. You have to
Oh
look at
yeah,
them also in terms of their laning phase. Laning phase is also very important, right?
yeah. If you like, the main problem is that I don't have much winning lanes, so I would kind of struggle a lot to play this game.
You have no winning lanes, to be simply
Yeah,
put. You don't have anywhere where you can. Trundle has nowhere he can go. Yeah, there's nowhere he can go. Maybe mid lane after Azir hits level 6 and he can do the Shurima shuffle onto Zoe. But
yeah,
it's not guaranteed, right? You don't have reliable CC with this comp against Zoe, and if Zoe, flashes away, then you're gonna have to catch her some other time
yeah.
when her flash is not up. But who knows? Is she gonna give you that opening?
I don't think so.
Hmm. Okay then. Um. Yeah. So, and if a fight erupts anywhere, Ornn is not going to be there before Gangplank, right? Gangplank R
Mm,
is just
yeah,
extremely useful. So it's gonna drop down, and then Jhin is immobile, Trundle is immobile, Bard is immobile, and they all get hit by Gangplank ult.
mhm,
Of course, the X factor here is the Bard. The Bard is the X factor here because how well you use your Bard ultimates really can change the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think, how do I say this? There is a lot of potential for your draft, but not a lot of winning conditions. So let's try to fix it up a bit. Instead of picking Trundle here, as you said, Sejuani would have been better.
Yeah.
Sejuani would have been
And I
better.
have more tanks to like to, I don't know how to mitigate your poke.
Right, right, right. And also,
And
well,
maybe what if, I don't know, just a question. I don't know how the matchup works, but
mhm.
what about picking instead of Azir LeBlanc? I mean, if I get LeBlanc, I can get a strong early mid laner
Mm-hmm.
that
Yes.
can avoid all your poke,
I think LeBlanc is fine against Zoe. Yeah, it's good.
and I could, I could like do something on the map because with Azir, I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, right. So let's fix it up a bit. Huh? Okay. Um, maybe it's clearer if we, actually use this to
Yeah,
show. So my team comp was, what was my team comp? I forgot what my team comp was. It was
Graves first pick
Graves, and then Morgana,
and Morgana, and then
Zoe,
Zoe,
Varus,
Gangplank Varus. Yeah,
Gangplank. Right. And your team comp was Jin. Let's take that away. And maybe okay, Sichuan was also banned. Okay. And LeBlanc was it?
yeah. Go on LeBlanc.
Orn. And Bart. Was it Bart? Yeah.
Yeah, was it Bar? Yeah, it was Bar. But I was thinking
Right.
like, what was a better support instead of Bard?
Right, right, right. So I see a couple of problems here, and I think I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
we lack damage.
You still lack damage.
Yeah,
Even if you change up your jungler, which is Sejuani is still
yeah,
better
yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah.
but it's not that much better. Even though you switch up your mid laner as well so that you can deal with Zoe. So instead of picking Sejuani here, there's a couple of
More
things that you
aggressive
can do.
jungler, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can definitely pick a more aggressive jungler. I think Olaf would be fine here. You pick Olaf there? What do you think?
Yeah,
It's getting a little
yeah, we
bit
should.
better, right?
And what about Kindred?
Kindred, yeah. Kindred's actually
So
another good choice, yeah.
we've got high mobility, and then we've got damage.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
the thing we lack.
Yeah, this looks better. This looks better. Your early game is also pretty good now
Yeah,
against Graves, Zoe, Gangplank. This is really solid early
and
game.
now I would maybe change the Bard for like Nautilus, so we
Nautilus.
can get hard engage.
Nautilus. Now I'm looking at this and I understand what your logic is, but it's Morgana, right?
Oh yeah, oh
This
yeah,
doesn't go
true.
very well. Nautilus would
Yeah,
just get hard
true.
countered by Morgana, so you cannot pick a
Yeah,
a hook style
total,
support here.
yeah, totally right. I was not taking into account the Morgana on lane.
Hmm.
So what could we pick? What could we pick?
As I said, because I banned away the Karma and Soraka,
Yeah, Karma was beautiful here.
yeah, unfortunately. But I wouldn't let that go away into the draft. Um, there aren't many options to be honest.
And Pantheon support, because
Pantheon support.
yeah, I still have the W problem with the Black Shield.
Hmm.
No, I'm not sure about that. Not really sure about that.
Okay.
Holy, I don't know what to pick. Maybe Zillion.
Zillion. Do you think
I don't know. How?
well, you have one problem now. With this team comp, you have another problem that you have. So you dealt with the damage problem and the mobility problem, but now you guys are really squishy. And my
Yeah,
team comp loves
it's
squishy
hard to poke.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I get a tank support that was, oh, maybe Braum was good here.
Brom? So you're going Brom Jin. Does that work?
I'm not sure. I've seen it.
Right. Jin has 4 shots. Brom
Yeah, yeah,
passive.
yeah. Passive is hard to get.
It's really difficult to get the passive
Yeah,
on.
passive is hard to get, but the thing is, Braum works against their team, I think.
It does. It does. You would be blocking quite a bit of the poke with the Brom, but in the laning phase, you would have a hard time against Morgana Varus.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, this is quite a strong lane, and I don't really see that many options. But I'm thinking, why don't you, Zyra?
Go
I
on
think,
Zyra?
yeah, Zyra can be a choice here. And then you don't really need Kindred anymore if you're gonna go
Yeah, because
Zyra.
we've got a damage support.
You can go Olaf here. You can go Olaf and he can go kind of like a tanky route, or you can go Volibear. Then you have 2 frontliners and a solid back line and a really good early game. Of course, Graves will outfarm the Volibear, but Volibear. This isn't the old Volibear, by the way. It's the new one. The
Yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the one that
The one
actually
that
does shit.
jumps.
Yes. So it's now this looks quite strong against the enemy team comp, and you might be thinking, oh, does Zyra do that good against Morgana? It can be done. It can be done. As long as she
Yeah.
doesn't get poked out by Varus Morgana, it's totally possible.
Yes, I see your point.
hmm Do you have any suggestions for the support role or the jungle role?
No, not really.
hmm
No, I struggled to pick the support here.
Right. Because I basically banned away the
Yeah,
enchanter supports. And Morgana is just that kind of champion. Because of her black shield, she provides so much denying
yeah.
utility. Yeah, so that's the kind of champion she is. But anyways, so now that you learned what you just did, what do you think about your draft and my draft?
Of the one that's showing right now.
The one that's showing right now.
Oh, mine is kind of unplayable.
If the RGL team played this draft and your team played this draft, how do you think it would have gone?
Oh, I lose. Of course, we love this game.
Before 20 minutes?
Maybe. Well, I think the our only chance was to scale a lot and Azir 1v9ing the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the only win condition I see here. Like Diorn getting a good engage, opening Jin's ult to slow the people down, and Azir farming. It's the only win condition I see here.
What is my win condition?
Oh, to poke us down.
Right.
Just not getting engaged, poking us down, and getting, like, if you get us low so we cannot fight objectives, you're gonna win the game.
I think that's true, and I think my team comp is easier to execute as well, because
Yeah.
they have a stronger early game, right? Ornn, Trundle, Azir can't really do much against Zoe, Gangplank, and Graves. Maybe if the Ornn plays really well, you can do it, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have my draft allows my players to play out the early game better, and since the win condition is for them to get items to be able to poke you down, as long as you guys cannot leave your lanes because you're constantly pushed towards your turrets, what can you do, right? Ornn cannot really team fight. Bard can't really roam because Jhin is going to be left alone and dived by Varus, Morgana, and Gangplank ult. And Zoe, yeah, she will struggle a bit against Azir later on. But with Graves around and Trundle unable to actually do much, considering his state in the meta right now, it's just really hard for your team comp to do that much in the early game. You guys have to shine in the late game, but then shining in the late game is difficult to ask for.
It's hard if you struggle a lot the early.
Yeah. So basically that was it. And yeah, if we introduce some fixes to the draft, now you have a answer to the lackluster early game, the lack of damage, the lack of mobility, and you have answers to the lane matchups. So like Morgana, Varus, Zyra, Jhin, Zoe, LeBlanc, Gangplank versus Ornn is just it can go either way. But then Volibear has the chance to
get presence on the map.
Yeah, to be useful during fights.
Yeah.
He has more damage than Trundle. He is more tanky than Trundle, and he has more mobility than Trundle. Not as
he's
much
basically better than Trundle.
Well put. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to tell you. And I think the more you do this, the more you'll get better at. But of course, you're gonna have to learn all of the champions. You're gonna have to learn how they work, and you're gonna have to also understand your teammates in order to be able to draft properly. So
yeah, I feel drafting is hard. Drafting is a hard part of League.
Yeah. So if I were to give you any advice for your next tournament, I would say do not pick a team comp that is hard to execute, right? If you need CC, go for it. If you need damage, go for it. My team comp, solves all of those problems. I have damage from everyone. I have plenty of CC from these three. And I have a high farming jungler and a high farming top laner that will not go behind in the late game, right? So I have scaling option as well. So if you can manage to make a team comp like that, then it will be much easier for your team to also just win it all, right? But of course, this is not considering the players. This is just purely based on what I think is good.
You mean this is not considering we have to get any mid laner, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a mid laner that can play more than Corki, that's for sure. And you're gonna have to get a jungler that doesn't play only tank junglers, because who plays only tank junglers, right? Like Graves, Nidalee, Lilia, Karthus are all running around in solo queue, and this guy's playing tank junglers? Come on, right? Well, if you want to play tank junglers, that's totally fine, but you're gonna have to build around that.
Yeah,
and if you play tank junglers, you also don't have that good of an early game, if you've noticed.
Well, we can also try the Shen Nocturne Galio.
Shen Nocturne Galio, yeah, that's a team comp that I was talking about a while ago. Shen Nocturne Galio, and then you can even put who would you put as your AD carry and support? Kai'Sa maybe? Kai'Sa, I don't know who you would pick as support. Kai'Sa Rakan maybe? Everyone goes in basically. Let me show it to you actually. Now maybe let's do Xayah Rakan. I think Xayah's fine here.
Yeah, because my question was, is it Dragon playable without Xayah? Because I'm not sure if one without the other is playable.
Yeah, so what do you think of this team comp?
Seems strong, yeah. And it's
Everyone
I
would
was
be on the
seeing,
same
I was
page, I
seeing the
guess.
Kai'Sa because you can ult in and follow all everybody basically.
I agree. Kai'Sa's a better choice here. Yeah.
And what about, for example, an Alistar Kalista?
I guess that's fine as well, but not as easy to apply CC as Rakan. I think Rakan is easier to play than Alistar.
No, yeah, but I was saying Alistar and Kalista, both together.
Oh, Alistar Kalista. Oh, I see. Kalista. Yeah.
So you can throw Alistar in.
Well, this works as well. I mean, it might not look like it's traditional, but if everyone is on the same page, if everyone goes in, then it can totally work. You know, you don't even have to pick Alistar here. You can even pick Taric.
Taric, yeah.
Then it's perfect. You know, you go in and then you last for 2.5 seconds invulnerable. There's nothing they can do. Yeah, this looks good. I would say you guys like a little bit of AP damage, but other than that, it looks fine.
Yeah, Galio, not a big damage dealer.
He's gonna have to go full AP anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can run that if you want, but you know, I don't know if your players can play that.
No, starting from the point I've never played Kalista. I think all the other ones are playable.
Okay then. Try this team comp. But make sure everyone's on the same page, right? If Nocturne goes in and then Galio is not in range, there's nothing you can do, right?
Yeah.
Okay then.
I don't know. We'll figure it out and get better at drafting by practicing, I guess.
Right then. I mean, I'm still trying to get better at drafting as well. It never stops. More champions come out, and you have to think about different possibilities and team compositions. It's just very bothersome, but yeah. Anyways, thank you for reaching out. It was fun doing this actually.
Big thank to you.
No.
It's been really helpful. And just a question: are you gonna keep uploading the Drafting Theory series?
Yes, actually. It's just that I have been kind of busy lately. Just playing solo queue and also coaching teams. So I haven't been able to make that much progress in terms of content. But my next content will be about the teams that are going to Worlds. So Rogue, nice. G2, TSM, and FlyQuest, Team Liquid. I don't know if any of the Korean teams have qualified already, but I will also do them. Maybe the Chinese teams as well. So I will analyze their drafts and the way they play out the drafts, and then it's kind of like a mini draft theory series just for the Worlds teams. Yeah. So I'm gonna try that out. Yeah. Hopefully you enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the drafting series.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. That's good. Make sure to share.
Good content.
Make sure to share, like, and subscribe.
I'm sharing all these videos to my teammates to see if they fucking see them once, but
yeah, they're too.
I mean, I don't know. For example, I don't know the mid lane matchups or top lane matchups as I know the bot lane ones. So it will help if just everybody put a bit on the draft.
That's right. But you need a certain level of attention to listen to those videos. They're a bit educational, and some people might find it boring. So yeah, I don't blame your friends.
It's content for people like highly interested on the topic.
Yes, I agree. But anyways, yeah. So I guess that's it for today. Hopefully, when you go into your next game, you apply the things that you've learned today. If you don't remember, the VOD will be on Twitch, so you can always watch it.
Oh, sure.
I will also like try to make this into a YouTube video by, editing some of the unnecessary stuff out, and maybe you can watch
Yeah,
it on my
okay.
channel. Yeah. And yeah,
Okay.
I'll be trying to upload my next videos as soon as possible. Hopefully, I haven't been able to work on them lately, but hopefully I will be able to do that. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next time. If you need any help
Yeah,
with
sure.
drafting or gameplay, um, just